Hi everyone, my name is Eliza and this is Eliza's Bookshelf. Today I want to go over all of my December reads and a recap of the DEKS Hall's readathon. That is the readathon that I had with my co-hosts Daphne, Sam, and Kaylee. We did a readathon the whole month, basically trying to tackle all of our older reads. So books that have been out a year or more. So I want to go over all the books that I read as well as the prompts that it met and then the result of my bingo board. A lot of people who submitted their responses got blackouts, which is really good. I got one bingo, so like, yay. Okay, let's go over the books. So the first book that I read is Hugs from Obama, and this one was just like an impulse buy. I was just out grocery shopping with my family, my husband and my two kids. There was a big bin of books that were on sale, and this was in there for only $3. So this definitely met my prompt for a cover buy because I saw this and I was like, yes, I want a hug from Obama. I miss this guy. So I read this one, I give it 5 stars, and it is what it sounds like. It's a book with a lot of pictures of Obama giving people hugs. See? And I mean, what more can you ask for? So cute. And then in between there's like a lot of quotes from him. So there's a quote from him from interview with HuffPost on March 21st, 2015. As long as I stay focused on those North Stars, and then I tend not to get too rattled. Yeah, I don't want to get too lost in this book again, but there's just so many good quotes. I miss him. But anyways, yes, that was my first read. This was published in 2018. Okay, so that met my prompt for cover buy. Next one is Ruth Ware, Turn of the Key. I heard a lot of people like this book, so I want to get into a lot of books from Ruth Ware because I think I have like 2 or 3 more of her books that I bought a long time ago. I just never read. This book basically starts out with this woman emailing this lawyer or something like that, right? And she is trying to let him know like, hey, you need to help me because I did not do it. And what is she being charged for? She's being charged for the murder of this child. She was like their nanny, their babysitter, whatever. Like 3, 4 girls that she is looking over, and one of them dies. And so the blame is put on her. And so it starts out with that. And it gets kind of crazy. Initially, I thought it was going to be something about the house because the house is like a smart house, very technological and weird and so high tech that it does things on its own. So I thought the house had something to do with it, but the story is actually pretty sad. So it's just your regular mystery thriller. I enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 3 or 4 stars. So this would meet the prompts to involves murder, favorite genre, and favorite author. So the next book is actually one of my favorites of December. It is Kristen Hanna's The 4 Winds. So I put this off for the longest time because it just sounds super depressing and it's a really long book. So it's about like, oh, it's not even 500 pages. I thought it was really long, but it feels thick. So it's like 450 pages of the Great Depression. And so you follow this woman as she's like in her early 20s, but really her whole childhood, her family's been saying that she will not really have a life because she was sick when she was younger, and they're like, that's it, there's no life for you now. And so now she's really trying to start her life, go to school and things like that, but she gets pregnant from this guy like down the street, right? And so that derails her whole future. She goes, lives with him, they get married, they have children, and then the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl comes, and you know, they're trying to navigate that. But it's a lot of sad circumstances that deals with like the children having to move, leaving family members and stuff like that. Overall, it's just like an undercurrent of having the courage to fight for what is right and for love and things like that. There's a little backstory of like love romance in there, very, very small. So it kind of held me over, but overall, this is a very sad story. I just love Kristen Hanna's writing because the way she develops her characters really makes me want to root for them a lot. So yes, I might pick this for one of my favorite books of that month. And let's see what prompts that would have fulfilled. I would say also favorite author, previous TBR, of course. Was this multiple POVs? I don't remember anything I read, honestly. No, this is not multiple POV. Okay. Intimidating book, yes. I guess that is it. Okay, next book I read is Emma in the Night. And I picked this one specifically to meet the prompt for starts with the first letter of your first name. And so E, Eliza, E, Emma. I picked this one out of like 3 books that I wanted to pick. A lot of people were rooting for Ender's Game, but I was like, I kind of want to figure out this out. This meets the prompt for the longest on my shelf because it's one of my like oldest book of the month picks. Dang, I don't remember what this book is about. Oh my gosh, I remember what happened in this book now. Sorry, I just had to get a refresher. This book was really disturbing. So Emma in the Night, there's this family, a very dysfunctional family apparently, right? And you have this family that has 2 daughters, and there's a lot of like half siblings or step siblings here and there. But the 2 daughters is named Emma and Cass. They're very close in age, I think, maybe like a year and a half away from each other. But one night, both of them goes missing. And they have no clue what happened to these sisters. They're just like eventually assuming that they're dead. But basically one of the sisters comes back, her name is Cass, and she like tells them all about what happened. You know, she's saying I don't know if I want to give too much away, but she's basically spinning the story, and eventually like the detectives and stuff like that, they're like, something is wrong with this story. And so you're trying to figure out what happened to Emma, and it's very disturbing. The family dynamics, it's ugh. I hate reading about stuff like this. I don't know if that's giving away too much, but overall, I'm happy that I finally got to this book and now I can put it away. I don't know how many stars I gave that. I would give it like 3 stars if I had to now. That meets the prompt for beginning with the first letter of your name. Longest on bookshelf. What else? New to you author. And then I got my free space. Dang. Maybe I didn't get a bingo. Oh, it meets multiple POVs. Yes, this is told in multiple point of views with like the detective and cast and stuff like that. I'm gonna say there's a face in the cover because I do see her face, sort of. It's right there. This is reaching a little bit, but I just want to get a bingo, and I don't know if I did. Whatever. All right, so moving on. This one is one of my favorites from December as well. It's Strange the Dreamer. It is our buddy read, and I loved it so much. It was a little bit slow for me to get started, and I think that's just because I was getting used to all the names. And once I got started, I was like, wow, this is just so crazy. The world building is just fantastic, and it's very unique. I've never heard of this type of story before, but I loved it. This meets the prompt to a friend recommended as well as our buddy read, and basically you have this guy Laszlo, which everyone tells him that he's like a dreamer. You're always dreaming about this and that, reaching for the stars, you're not in the now or whatever. There's the story about this crazy wonderful place that has a lot of like, you know, wonderful people who comes from there and a lot of goods, and all of a sudden when Laszlo is talking about this place, he isn't able to say the name of the place. All that comes out is weep. He's trying to talk about it and he just keeps saying weep, weep. It's so crazy. It's so weird. But he's like, you know, something is making us try to forget this place, but I remember. And so people just forget about it. And then years from then, someone comes over and visits him and tries to like bring him back to this mysterious city of Weep. I don't know if that's a good explanation, but it's just a wonderful world because you actually learn about this place, about the people who were there and what happened to it and what made it just like disappear off the face of the earth. The ending, oh my gosh, the ending, it just makes you want to know what happens next because it's not a very happy ending. And actually a lot of the backstories of the people from Weep is very sad. And I just can't wait to see what happens next in the Muse of Nightmares. So this is also one of my favorite reads from December. The last physical book that I read is The Wonder by Emma Donoghue. I picked this book because it recently got adapted into a movie that is now on Netflix, and it stars one of my favorite actresses of all time. What is her name? Florence Pugh. So I love her so much in all of her movies, and I recently watched, what is it called? Don't Worry Darling, and I liked it. And so I did not know at all that I didn't even know that this book was going to be adapted into a movie, but I saw the trailer on Netflix randomly. I think the movie was even out already when I saw the trailer, but so it is out. That's why I picked this book. Actually, this book I think is the oldest that is on my book of the month shelf. I think it's even older than Emma in the Night, but this is October 2016, and Emma in the Night is September 2017. Yeah, so this is definitely older. So this meets like, you know, the oldest on the bookshelf. It also meets one word book title. I'm just gonna say Wonder. And it also meets book to film adaptations. It's basically a book in Ireland, I believe. It's in like an impoverished Irish village. And then you have, I think Florence Pugh is the one who's going to play this English nurse. So she is being recruited to come over to this place in Ireland where they're saying this young girl, how old is she, like 11 or something? She's a little girl, and they're saying that she hasn't been eating for the past 4 months since her 11th birthday or whatever. And so this nurse is being called over to basically just stand watch over the girl and just make sure that she's not eating anything, to actually prove that she's doing what she's saying, because they're like, oh, this is like a miracle, right? And so it's crazy. Like a long time ago when I picked this book up, I honestly didn't know what it was about. I just saw a spoon and I was like, is this person gonna bend a spoon or something? But yeah, this book took a turn. I did not know. I thought it was gonna be about something magical, but it's not. And it's actually really heartbreaking and also disturbing. You might want to look up some trigger warnings for this if you're very sensitive to certain topics, but I finally read it and I'm going to watch the movie soon. But yes, maybe I gave this like 4 stars. I'm not really good at star giving, if you've noticed. I didn't really rate any of these books. That met the prompt for adapted to screen. 1-word title. Ah, yes, I got a bingo. So I got a bingo on the top here, if you can see. But yes, thank you to everyone who participated in this readathon. It was so fun just talking books with you guys and trying to check off all these books that you've been wanting to read, just never got to it because we get sidetracked by a lot of new releases. So, oh, actually, I read like 2 other books that I forgot to mention. One of them counts, the other one didn't, but I read Lovelight Farms. I kind of read it with Daphne a little bit, like coincidentally, we just picked it up together, and it was unplanned. But I read Lovelight Farms and I liked it so much that I read the second one in the series, In the Weeds. In the Weeds came out last year, so it doesn't really count for this readathon. Yeah, it doesn't count. But I read Lovelight Farms and I thought it was so cute. Oh my gosh, it's like the cutest friends to lovers romance ever. The reason why, okay, so you have this woman who like bought this Christmas tree farm because she wanted to like do something special. She loves the Christmas time. It reminds her of like happier times basically. So she wants to run this place with all of the community, and she works with her 2 friends. I forgot their names, but the other books are what they're about. Something is happening with her farm and she is losing out on some money, and she's just not telling her coworkers yet because she wants to save it herself and not bother them. And so she enters herself in like this social media contest, but she told them that she ran this Christmas tree farm with her boyfriend just to like fluff it up for some reason. She thought that would make it sound more magical. And so she actually got picked for one of the finalists, and she's like, oh shoot, I need someone to pretend to be my boyfriend. And she picked one of her coworkers, and he's like, what are you doing? No, right? And so she's trying to see who else that she can pick, and eventually she's like, okay, let me just ask my best friend, which is the person who everyone told her that she should have asked in the first place. So it was so cute because the moment that she asked him, he's like, sure. No questions asked. He's just like, fine, of course, I'll do it. And then it's so funny because he was saying, but don't you have a boyfriend? Why didn't you ask him? And he's like, oh my gosh, I haven't had a boyfriend in months. And he's like, what? So I thought it was just like the cutest book ever. The only thing that I did not like about it is that it kind of like dragged on a little bit because they were like fake dating, and he was giving a lot of hints and clues as to like it's not really fake for him. He actually likes her, but she was just not getting it, and it just like went on for the longest time. That's the only thing, but I thought it was a very cute friends to lovers. I will never stop reading friends to lovers romances. And so I like the side characters so much that I read In the Weeds. In the Weeds is the second one in the trilogy, I believe, but it follows the guy who's like a grumpy, wants to keep to himself sort of guy, but I think he just has like social anxieties. Anyway, so it follows him and like a second chance romance with this guy, with this girl that he kind of had a one-night stand with. Kind of, yeah, so I read that. That was cute, but I don't know if I like the series enough now to just finish it off, but I did like Lovelight Farms. I don't know if I put that in here. Next, it wasn't next in series, it wasn't last in series. I don't know if it's indie published, not a graphic novel, not high. Regardless, I already got my bingo. We were trying to pick the winner for our DEKS Halls readathon, and we were so nervous for some reason. We're like, no, you pick it. And Kaylee was probably asleep already. But anyways, we finally had my son press the button to pick the winner, and our winner is Jazz. So as our winner, you can get a book off of your wish list as well as one of the books from our favorite books of December. And my favorite books are The Four Winds and Strange the Dreamer. And Daphne said her favorite book was The Kiss Quotient, Sam's favorite book was The Night Circus, and Kaylee's favorite book was The Lantern's Ember. And I'll put this all in an email with you, but congratulations, Jazz, for winning our giveaway, our first giveaway ever. And thank you to everyone who participated in our readathon. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.